We've got a great topic today, slope and the rate of change. So rate of change is a ratio that compares the amount of change of something in your dependent variable to the amount of change in the independent variable. So you can see it written here, whatever your change in your dependent variable is compared to the change in your independent variable. So it's going to be important that you identify which is your independent and dependent variable first. So here shows the balance in a bank account on different days of the month, and they want us to find the rate of change during each time interval. So the first thing I need to do is I need to identify the dependent and independent variables. So does the day depend on the balance, or does the balance depend on the day? Remember, if you can make that dependent statement, that helps you out. So the dependent variable is the balance, and the independent variable is the days. So the next thing I need to do is I need to find out what the change is. So the change in the balance from day 1 to day 6 was 550 to 285, so that's a negative 265. But then that's not in one day, that's in a course of 5 days. And then we have to do what we call a unit rate, which means you need to reduce it down until you have a denominator of 1. So during this first 5-day period, the balance went down $53 per day. Then we do the next one, which was from 210 to 285. So that went down, 210 to 285. So that went down $75. And that was in a 10-day period, so that's $750 a day. Okay, the next was, it stayed the same for the next 6 days. Then it went down $35 in 8 days, which is $4 and about 38 cents a day. And then it asks you which one was the greatest one, which was the largest one. That would have been the first one from day 1 to day 6. Okay, and you'll notice that these intervals are not all the same. This is 5 days and 10 days and then 7 days, etc. Okay? If all of the connected segments had been the same rate of change, then they would have all had the same steepness. So think about that. All right, let's go back for just a minute. I've got the graph over here on the side so that you can see that. You can see that this is a big drop, and then it kind of flattens out. Then this was no change, and then a little bit. So if all of them had the exact same rate of change, then the steepness would be the same, and they would form a straight line. That is called a constant rate of change. And when you have something that has a constant rate of change, we give it a special word. That word is slope. So when I'm talking about the slope of a line, I'm talking about the tilt or the steepness of a line, and it'll be the same all the way on there, okay, all the way up and down. So here's an example, okay? I'm going to use some terminology. If I'm asking you for the rise, that means the up and down movement. So rise is up and down, okay? The run is going to be your side-to-side movement. So going like this is your run. Now, I like to think of a little Pac-Man. I got a little smiley face here. But let me just start somewhere, and let me put him right here. And he's going to move up and over like in a Pac-Man move to get to another point. So he's going to go up 1, 2, 3 spaces. That's a rise of 3. He's going to run 1, 2. Now, if he does that exact same motion again, up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 2, 1, 2, he's on the line again. Or up 3, 1, 2, 3, run 2, he's on the line again. What if he went from here straight to this one? That means he would rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then he would run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with all the other ones, it was rise 3, run 2. Just now we said to go from the bottom to the top, we went up 9 and over 6, which reduces to what? 3 over 2. So that is a constant rate of change. All right, so we're going to talk about the word slope, and we're going to say, first of all, that slope is rise over run. What are some other things or other terms that we can use? Constant rate of change. That means regardless of whether I go from this point here to this point here, or from the bottom point to the top point, it's the exact same value. I use these little deltas here. Deltas means change or difference. So the change in the y values, or the difference in the y values compared to the difference in the x values. And we're going to actually let this take us down a little bit further, and we're going to come up with a formula for slope. Okay? So the word difference means what? Subtraction. So we have to find the difference between any 2 points. So we're going to let one point be an x value for the first point and a y value for the first point. And then the second point will be an x value for the second point and a y value for the second point. Now, notice those little numbers at the bottom are simply telling me that this x and y value come from a different point. We use the word difference, and difference means we're going to subtract. So we're going to say the y value of the second point minus the y value of the first point over the x value of the second point minus the x value of the first point. I really don't care which is the first point and which is the second point. I do care that these are done in the same order. And we're going to be practicing these. Okay? So, for instance, I can find the slope on a graph by doing the rise over run. Or I can pick 2 points. Like let's take this point right here, which has the ordered pair 2, 2. And let's take this point right here, which has an ordered pair of 4, 5. Okay? And now let's apply it to our formula that we have down here. Okay? So our formula says take the y values and subtract them. So 5 minus 2 on the top. So I took this y value minus this y value. And then 4 minus 2 on the bottom. This x value minus this x value, which gives me 3 over 2, which is the exact same thing that they gave us before. Now, one last thing before I leave this page is somebody in their infinite wisdom decided to use a variable for this, and they used the variable m. We'll talk about that when we go to graph. Okay? Let's see if we can find the slope here. Pick any 2 points. Now, I put a little cherry up there on that one, and all I need to do is find another good point. So, a good point would be where it crosses right here where on the grid, where it's very easy to tell. So, I'm going to use this point right here, and I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to go to the left 1, 2, 3. So if I go up 10, that is a move of positive 10 on the top. And if I go to the left 3, that's a negative 3 on the bottom. That means the slope of this line is negative 10 thirds. Okay, let's look at another one. All right, again, I put a cherry here, and I'll put this guy, how about right here? So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3. I'm going to run 1, 2, 3. That means rise over run 3 over 3 gives me a slope of 1, which is the same thing as 1 over 1. Now watch this. If I start here and go up 1, right 1, I'm on the line. Up 1, right 1, on the line. Up 1, right 1, on the line. If I use any slope that is equal to this, how about 4 over 4? Does that equal 1? That means if I go up 4, oops, let me grab it. If I go up 4, I'll move him out of the way. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, on the line again. Okay? So any fraction that equals 1 will put me on that line. Okay? Let's try the next one. All right? This one's a little bit trickier. Okay? A little bit trickier here. So, this one I'm going to go, well, I'm not going to go up or down at all, am I? So that's going to give me a rise of 0. And then in this case, my run is left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives me a run of negative 5. Okay, this goes back to the rules. What is 0 divided by negative 5? Negative 5. Okay, oops, my bad. I totally messed that up. What is 0 divided by negative 5? 0. Miss Wilbur, does this look like this has no slope, no tilt whatsoever? Absolutely. Okay, what about this one? Okay, so in this case, I'm going to rise or run. In this one, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I went down 11 places, and then I went left or right, none. And this is what? Undefined. Remember that? Undefined. Told you that word would come back to us. Okay? Do you remember when we were doing the scatter plots and we were looking for correlations? Hopefully you will see if a line goes up from left to right, it's a positive slope. Down from left to right, it's a negative slope. Straight across, it's a slope of 0. And if it's straight up and down, it is undefined. Okay, that's it.